Well, it seems that Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast seem to be in a bit of a sticky situation. Just how far will things go with this Bank of America thing? And what exactly does that mean for the company? Welcome on in Dragonfolk. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. I know I am. My name is Ashen Wings, and we are here today to talk about cardboard. That's right. So, cardboard issues have been vast across the Magic the Gathering universe. As of this past year, really these past 2 years have kind of been on and off, but the 2020 product still obviously nailing it on the head there. Right now, we have to talk about the problem that's at hand. Bank of America, or B of A, as it is sometimes referred to in many articles, did a deep dive into the Hasbro stock. And instead of talking to a bunch of, Wizards employees who might tell you that things are okay, or Hasbro employees who might tell you that, oh, well, Wizards hit $1 billion recently in sales. They're totally killing it. It's like the best year ever for Magic the Gathering. What this is doing to the long term of Magic is very, very evident. And because of that, you are seeing a outlash of different places, whether that be a player, a collector, a LGS, or even a shareholder. So the Hasbro stock seems to have dropped 5.2% recently, and according to Bank of America, it is due to possibly go down another 34% over time, strictly due to the want of Hasbro's short-term gain over their long-term investment of players, right? So what we are seeing here is we are seeing actual finance people, right? Not like myself or Rudy or, the professor or anybody who claims they know anything about the market in a way that is so in-depth that they have a degree for it. Actual people from actual finance corporations are looking at Hasbro and going, well, according to everybody that has any affiliation with the game, whether that be an LGS, a player, whatever that may be, they are not happy with the product. They're not happy with the support from Wizards of the Coast or from Hasbro themselves, and you consistently see that on a regular basis. And because of that, there is a huge downfall in shareholder wants. A lot of people are backing out from their shares. A lot of people are backing out from Magic. A lot of people are switching from purchasing new Magic to purchasing old Magic, because old Magic is something that is relative and is fun. Everybody loves Commander, and Commander is an eternal format. You can make entire decks without having to touch any of the new product, which means you would never have to buy the new product. Obviously, you're seeing, again, in said article from CNBC, I think, says something along the lines of the people of Magic are upset over the overprinting and mass producing of this product. There's a new set every month, sometimes two, and that every standard set that comes out has about 7 different things that come with it. A draft box, a set box, a collector box, a commander box, a jumpstart box, and pre-release kits. And, what else is there? Bundles. So there's about 7 or 8 roughly different kinds of products that come out with one single release of Magic the Gathering. Now, remember, we were there, and then we were at, 2019. Really, let's look at 2018, right? You had a draft box and you had a bundle, right? And I think they called them fat packs back then. Now we call them bundles. But that was essentially it, right? That's all you had was 2 products, and people were gobbling that stuff up, even though some sets were not as favorable as others. But more importantly, the sets now seem so easily generated. There does not seem to be a kind of love and care put into the quality of the cards, right? The keywords seem very lackluster to begin with, although I'm quite a fan of Prototype from the Brothers War. I think a lot of it is R&D is doing everything where it can, but QA is messing up on a lot of stuff in regards to things like miscuts of cards, poor printings of cards, and bad foiling. There was recently, I don't know if I'll be able to find the picture, somebody had opened a Mishra commander deck from the Brothers War, and it only contained 2 cards, being Mishra and Ashnod, and that's it. It was 100 copies, 50 each, I think, of Mishra and Ashnod. Like, how does that go through production? And I don't know how many of those are out there, right? You could be keeping several of these commander decks sealed and never know that one of them is a complete misprinted deck with all these different cards. There's a lot of quality issues that are happening with new stuff. And again, there's 30 years of product and eternal formats exist. Most of the people are already upset at the fact that the competitive scene is gone. Not that it's gone, obviously. We still have the World Championship, but for the most part, it was very much so in-depth. Wizards was taking care of its players to be able to go to these events and to be able to participate and be a well-known name in the Magic the Gathering competitive scene. And now you're just another name, right? Not to mention, you're just another name, and you can do all your events online through Arena. So things are just different now in regards to the competitive scene. But that is where the big issue is, right? The competitive scene no longer exists. Standard cannot continue to sell as well as it did previously because now you can just play standard sets that are brand new to the game on Arena for free, and anything that you might need, right? You can go check out the professor's videos on the top 5 cards that you should get from the set for Commander, or the Commander Quarters, who says, these are the cool Commander cards that you can get out of X set that's like brand new. This stops players from wanting to build entire new standard sets because no LGS is playing in standard, and any standard that you're going to want to actually use or play, you can just buy those singles from an LGS. And luckily, that's still giving LGS, the traction that they deserve. But a couple singles over having to buy entire decks is very different when it comes to actual revenue for an LGS. And I do hear from some places that Commander has done a lot in regards to LGS single sales. A lot of stuff is being able to be moved strictly because of an eternal format that needs only one card, or at least one version of a card. But it does also cause issues because you only need one copy of the card. Normally, they carry a lot of the newer stuff, so a lot of the older stuff is harder to find. You're not seeing a bunch of LGSs crack like Mirrodin or Battle for Zendikar or anything of the sort. So it's a little difficult to find some specific cards unless, of course, you are a hoarder and you just picked up people's bulk over the years. Another issue that the CNBC article seemed to have brought up was the fact that Wizards was releasing the Magic the Gathering 30th Anniversary Edition. Those, $1,000 4-pack randomized boosters that really, I guess, after tax, you're probably paying like $1,075, $1,100. So you're almost looking at $1,100 for 4 randomized packs. And while we're seeing such wild concepts with this, right? Wizards gave them out to Black Lotus VIP members at the recent Magic 30 event. There's a rumor that you may be able to get a pack with your Magic 30th Secret Lair if you were able to order that. And we're also seeing actual traction of already graded cards from Magic 30 being put online for hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, which is just so awful, right? The fact that it's gotten so deep into the money pit has been a problem for a long time. And I no longer personally believe that Magic is currently for players. I believe that players have a space, being Commander or any of the Eternal formats. I think even Pioneer is a pretty safe place to be a competitor. But as far as anything else, it's going to take a lot for Wizards to come back from this. And we're all aware it is going to be a big problem for Hasbro. It's going to be a big problem for Wizards. And more specifically, it's going to be a big problem for you. Because I know what everybody's thinking, right? Everybody's thinking, oh, well, why don't they just stop making stuff currently? Why don't they just wait it out and then just stop making things, right? They could. What I think they should do is delay a lot of these additional sets, right? The Lord of the Rings stuff, any master sets they might have ready and raring to go. Maybe stop making secret layers for a little while because, let's be honest, you're making way too many secret layers and not keeping up with actual dates, the actual release dates and dates where it's assumed it could get to your door. Those are not accurate. Both of the secret layers that I've ever ordered have been accurate, but one of them was from a third-party site, and the other one was from way long ago when they were just first starting to do secret layers. So I by no means think that the secret layers are a great way to go. I think it's wasting a lot of time. You saw that whole issue with the Heads I Win, Tails You Lose deck. There's a lot of product in general, and now it's not just us, the players, the collectors, the investors, the flippers. It's not just us crying about it. It's the banks now. Now Bank of America took a deep dive into this and went, oh, you know what? These guys are actually screwing themselves for short-term gain. Well, that's going to come to bite them in the butt later. And the biggest problem with all of this being the short-term gain situation is that it's going to be a long-term recovery before we see any kind of change, which means that Wizards of the Coast very well could continue to lose out because of all the product that they have mainlined already for their future. We've already talked about release dates from all the way up until the Lost Caverns of Ixalan in 2024. And you have to keep up dates for expansion sets so that in September the rotation happens, unless, of course, in September they abolish Standard, to which if they do that, what is that even about? I don't even think they need to do that. I don't think that's a state they could do, although it would allow them to hold back on product, right? They can continue to make the product, they can hold on to it, they can wait, and they can allow people to enjoy the product as it comes out, and then they can push the product further on down the line. You're dealing with a company that thinks 2 years in advance, and this is now the comeuppance of their past 2 years ago. I mean, what was happening 2 years ago, right? Pan Pizza was just starting. I mean, we were pretty much in the deep of it at this time 2 years ago, but I think that's where we're at. I think that's where you see a lot of this design go through, right? We were getting stimulus checks. People were spending money erratically. People were spending more money on their hobby than they were on things like gas because you had to work from home. You weren't working at an office, at least not everybody was. And that caused a big shift in monetary gain for Hasbro and Wizards, I'm sure. And because of that, we see the consequences, right? Now we're looking at what Wizards in 2020 imagined 2 years in the future would be like, right? Still dealing with the Pan Pizza, still dealing with stimulus checks, still dealing with all this. And now here we are, right? 2 years later, and everybody's broke. We're in an economic recession, and I guarantee you people are going to give up their hobby before they give up their house or their car or anything else that is more important to them. That's the volatility that Magic has to work with, is that we all understand that this is a game. And we all know that we can take breaks We can sell all of our stuff. We can continue to buy more things and collect. We can just play the game with what we have and never purchase another thing ever again. There are so many different avenues that we can go down, and it's going to be hard on Wizards either way. And it is unfortunate that they have to now work at this point to go, 2 years down the line, we're going to be seeing hopefully something that is better than what we're at right now. And that just means that these next 2 years are going to be brutal for Wizards and for Hasbro. Now, obviously, Hasbro dug this grave. At least we think Hasbro dug this grave. We're not too sure, right? It could be Hasbro, it could be Wizards. I've heard from sources that met with individuals from Wizards of the Coast at the Magic 30th event that Hasbro has no direct influence in Wizards of the Coast, and that they essentially just let them run free and do what needs to be done in order for them to continue profiting, which then just makes me believe that Wizards of the Coast is causing Hasbro stock to drop, which means that Hasbro very well could just start letting people go, start making all these big changes themselves, and actually stepping in. If that's true, right? I'd say a lot of things to save face, especially in a time in which a lot of people dislike my product. But it's it's a hard time. And it's especially hard for the shareholders, right? The people who play the game, the people who collect the game. You see reserve list cards dropping in price significantly. A lot of people are taking this as the big red flag to get the heck out and not come back until things are fixed. And I expect that to be the case. I expect there to be a lot of people who will take this time, these next 2 years of recovery, to take a break, right? Maybe try out something else, try a different game, maybe try to play that video game that's been sitting in your Steam library for a long time. Maybe go try out Flesh and Blood, which is another fantastic card game that you all should check out at least once. But I think overall, again, we're gonna hit you with the same thing that I've always said, okay? And I'm gonna continue saying this from this point forward. You all need to know, including myself, what makes Magic special for you. And if the answer to that is you just like playing with your friends and you have a deck built already and you're not worried about anything else in regards to that, then you're fine. You don't have to worry about going out and purchasing a whole bunch of new product. If you're a collector and you're sitting here going, oh man, I wish I could collect all this stuff, but I don't have the money to start getting collections going. Well, maybe it's time to think about something else. Maybe it's time to work on that passive income to allow you to get these things later on when this time has passed and this product has had its time and there are hundreds of thousands of singles on the market. I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's going to be okay. We all love Magic. And something I genuinely would like to see, because we're not seeing a lot of it, is I'd like to see a blog-a-tog about this. I'd like to see some kind of CEO representative actually go through the setup. And we did back when, Chris Cox talked about the price sensitivity of the consumers, because we were all, price sensitive and we didn't just want to buy product left and right because it was because we wanted all of it. But we want an actual, an understanding from the company, transparency. That's what is going to make a better relationship with your players and with your consumers in general. Because if you ruin your relationship with your consumers for short-term greed, then you're not going to have a sustainable lifestyle in Magic the Gathering. And this is going to cause a lot of issues in the future for the company. People are going to look back on this and they're going to see this absolute downfall. We have actual stock numbers declining. We have people leaving the game at a rapid pace. We have people attempting to sue Wizards for, breaking the reserve list, which they never did. It was a breaking of the spirit of the reserve list, because all it took was for, Mark Rosewater to talk about the spirit of the reserve list and the word of the written word of the reserve list, and that was it. Now that whole blogatog is just posted everywhere. Anybody who talks about Magic 30 talks about that specific post and how they were never going to ever reprint, reserve list cards on a different back as a collector's item or whatever. And here they are for their 30th anniversary. So overall, I guess I want to see what you guys think about this. I guess I'm very happy that I'm starting to cover Flesh and Blood on top of Magic the Gathering, because it gives me another avenue for when things look bleak, that I can also tap into something that is making me very joyful at the time. But I definitely don't want to give up on Magic, and I don't think any of you want to give up on Magic. I think truly what we want to do is we want to see a solution. It may take a year, maybe even 2 years, but I would hope that this message that is being sent across the world in a viral speed is able to actually make a difference and show Hasbro and show Wizards of the Coast that we are taking a stand and we are choosing to not purchase product at a rate that they require us to in order for them to make record profits. Because as much as we'd love to own everything, we're not in an economic situation that we can do that. And some people are, most are not. And I hate to bring him up again, because he's got his own thing, and I don't want to include him in this a lot. But Rudy from Alpha Investments is even holding back on purchasing product to sell to his patrons because of these issues. And that man's got a lot of money, at least enough to continuously invest in things like Wizards of the Coast and any product that he ever can come across. So I guess take it all as a sign, right? Do I think Magic is dying? No. Is Magic in a really bad spot right now? Yeah, obviously. But overall, I think, again, we just need to make sure that we are enjoying the game how we wish. And if you like to open boxes, to crack packs, to try and find things, and that's something you like, I work with gamblers all the time. I understand if it's something that you find entertaining and it's worth your money, by all means do it. But if you're an Eternal player and you're playing in Commander and all you want to do is just buy the 3 singles that you care about from a new set, then that works out, right? You're able to minimize the amount that you put into the market, and you're able to have a good time. And that's what's important, is having a good time. No matter what you're doing, it's about having a good time. We are seeing significant restraint from a lot of people wanting to purchase new product. And that's saying something. So again, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about all this. And let me know if you think it's going to get better, right? Have you already quit Magic? Are you looking to just hold off and take a break for a couple years while this all blows over? Are you going to sell all your stuff and never touch Magic again because you feel betrayed? Let me know. While you're down there leaving that comment, please make sure to like the video and also subscribe to the channel as well if you have not already. And I will see you all very soon. Nerd out.